the limiting worth or the fear is still there in the beginning. But now it's down to just a matter of hours, if not minutes, that all of a sudden we feel, oh, never mind, we're all on the same level. We all have some positives, we all have some weaknesses. And the more you get around individuals like that, the more you realize we're all the same. Someone else might just been in the game longer.
Welcome to the Earn Your Happy podcast. I'm Lori Harder, founder of The Bliss Project, 3-time fitness world champion, fitness expert, and cover model turned self-love junkie, lifestyle entrepreneur, and author. Each week, I'll bring you a guest or a thought that will help you bust through your fears, connect to your soul, and get focused and clear so you can elevate your life, business, and relationships. We don't wait until we're ready for someone to tell us we're good enough. We take what we want and we anoint ourselves. Get ready to earn, own, and unapologetically rock your happiness every single day. Are you with me? Here we go.
And we're back
with another episode of He Said, She Said. It's going to be a great day. Do you know why?
Why?
Because we are choosing to make it one. And that's just about it. That's just about the key to every day. I don't know.
Simple.
I think that every single morning we have an opportunity to get frantic and pissed off. What do you think?
Well, number one, it's 7 something in the morning and I'm still drinking my coffee. Number 2, I don't think anything this morning was frantic and pissed off.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
I was like, what did I miss?
No, I'm saying like every morning we really do have an opportunity to choose because we have a lot on our plates and everybody else does as well. Like we're not like, oh my God, I'm such a damsel in distress. I have so much on my plate this week. Everyone should feel bad for me and everyone is not as stressed as I am. It's really easy to go there, don't you think?
I think everyone thinks that about themselves. Yes.
Yes. Okay. We're in agreement. But with that said, I think that what I want to focus on first is just that every single day, you and I have been doing a really good job of reframing because we have a lot going on. We have a move coming up. We have a big event this week. We have a lot happening. And I'm just really in this place of deep gratitude for the busyness instead of overwhelm. And that's a clear choice because I was choosing overwhelm even just like a few short weeks ago.
You know, we really have been on a really good streak, like doing all the right things. And I think doing all those right things make it easier to reframe, make it easier to see the positive side of things.
What we're going to talk about today is where you limit yourself, but this conversation actually goes right into it because I do think I was upper limiting myself, like they talk about in The Big Leap, by not supporting myself around the big things. So we've been, really good about choosing to support ourselves around those things.
I've read that book years ago. Matter of fact, when I read 30 books in 30 days, I read it and you've been reading it on the couch next to me every morning and like 10 times per morning, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I think this is related to this. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think we're upper limiting by doing this. So why don't you, I'm starting to get the impression, by the way, if you're listening right now, we don't know what we're talking about most of the time. We just kind of get on here and whatever's real for us is what's real for us. And where I think she's trying to take this is I think you want to talk about some of the things in The Big Leap that you're learning, right?
That's what we talked about. So here's a couple questions that you can ask yourself. And let me give you a concept around this. I talked about it on my quickie. Let me give you an idea of what it is. So upper limiting is where you are stopping yourself from going to your next level. And it comes in the craziest ways that you think are external, but it's not. It's actually like as you go to your next levels, and I've been talking about this, like I said, a lot on my quickies, as you go to your next levels, it's just that the things that were stopping you before, like the same limiting beliefs, are just going to get disguised into fancier outfits as you grow and level up. And you're going to start to think like, this is it. This is the top for me and I can't move on from here. And if you don't move on, what's going to happen is your life is going to start to you're going to start to feel either anxious, depressed, really tired, stuck, not sure like what's wrong with you. Maybe it's going to manifest in your health and sickness and you sabotaging relationships that appear like it's the other person and it's always you. And here's the thing is that some of you are like, no, it's not always me. Yes, there is always a way to take full ownership over it. And it doesn't mean that you're going to fix the relationship. It means you're going to move on from it or you're going to create a path that is going to be successful for you outside of whatever is happening.
Yeah, I agree with that. I teach that all the time. if you're willing to go far enough back, you can always see the point where you became radically responsible for the outcome that you're experiencing right now.
Oh my God.
And most people aren't willing to go back objectively and look for it. But there's so much power in doing that because you can say, okay, if I put myself here, even though it kind of pisses me off a little bit, at least I know I have the power to put myself anywhere else.
Yep.
So there's actually a blessing that comes along with this sense of, whoa, 100% radical responsibility. I see now where I became responsible for this outcome. Therefore, I can be responsible for any outcome.
And I think as you start hanging around people who are really leveled up, and as we have been really leveling up, I have trouble spending any time with people who don't take radical responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not that we can't talk about the fact that we feel blocked, but you talk about it with the idea of where am I blocking myself? And then absolutely we'll talk about figuring out a solution for how to get out of your own way. But I'm not going to pretend to talk about a solution around something that you're trying to blame on something else. Well, this is because I don't have the support of my partner. This is because I don't have the education. This is because I don't have X, Y, and Z. So those are the things that are off the table when you start leveling up. And it's where am I going to grow or overcome this thing so that I can get to where I want to be? So there's some questions that you can ask yourself. So here's what I'm going to ask you, Chris. We're going to use this as an example so people can know where we can start to know where it is that we're either blocking ourselves or how we're not going to the next level or even thinking what that could look like for us. Are you ready?
No, but I guess I have to be.
Yeah.
Okay. I wish you guys could see this. She's looking at me with like this kind of this smirk, like, I'm about to ask you a bunch of questions. You don't know what they are. I'm like, oh God, here we go again.
Okay. So what are you doing in
Picking
your
my
life?
Toes.
I know.
Not right now.
Disgusting. Does anybody else have someone who picks their toes in their life?
See, I already failed the first question.
Oh my God. You know what? I think you have a piece of kale from last night in your teeth right now.
That's impossible. I brushed my teeth last night.
Well, it came
Maybe
from somewhere.
Maybe it worked its way down.
Okay. So moving on, where in your life are you at your best? What are you doing when like all things are flowing and you just feel like you could be in this place for hours without realizing the time is going by? What is it exactly that you're doing when you feel you are at your best?
This is tough because my mind goes two ways. It goes, do you mean in business when I'm at my best? Or do you mean in just life in general when I'm at my best?
It's usually they both coincide with each other. So let's see. So
Okay.
Go for business first.
All right. I'm winging it because I don't know what the hell you're looking for here. So I'm at my best when I have a day that has space in it, but I also have a couple of people I'm talking to one-on-one or a group that I'm fielding questions from as my work for the day. I'm at my best if I have two calls, let's say one one-on-one coaching call, one group coaching call where I'm fielding business questions. And the rest of the time I have space to read and take care of myself and spend time with you and get tons of exercise in. That's when I'm at my best.
Okay. So with that said, and these are things, you guys, there will always be an upper limiting problem. So with Chris, I can kind of see right now that he is upper limiting himself a bit by
What
packing.
are you talking about?
By packing your schedule.
Okay. Yes.
And because you don't get to be at your best every day, because you're stopping yourself by packing your schedule, which is resulting in, just like he says in the book, probably frustration, anxiety, not taking care of yourself the way that you could so that you're not at your best. And a lot of times this can come from, addiction of just like being busy all the time. So we can be addicted to that and think like, oh my God, what am I doing if I'm not doing this? Like, who am I to like just spend all of this time in one place or this place of being my best self? Sometimes we can feel like, wow, maybe this is not enough. Maybe I need to be packing my schedule. It can come from a place of fear or lack around who knows what, could be anything. It can come from pretty much just believing, like I said, like you're not enough or whatever that looks like. Just packing that schedule. Does that make sense?
No, it makes great sense because I do. I pack my schedule all the time. And then what do I get pissed off over? That I have a packed schedule.
Right. So that's an upper limiting problem just for everybody to hear. Like, it's such a great example because we all do it. Like, we fill our schedules so much, whether it's with business or social activities. And then we're like, oh my God, I have no time for X. A lot of times it's stopping us, or we're saying I have no time for X because we're actually afraid of X. Like we're afraid of going all in because it might be a pivot. We might think it's more work. Like I've been afraid of certain things because I'm like,
seems like a lot of work.
It seems like it might be way more work when technically if you're doing it correctly and kind of delegating and doing all those things, where you're just making sure that your life for the next year or 2 years is set up so that you spend time in that zone of genius. So you guys, it's not going to happen overnight. What I want to point out is if Chris wanted right now to be at his best all the time, it would take a good like probably 3 to 6 month process for you. And you've been doing this a long time. So for other people, like a year or 2 or 3 to get to the next level, like truly be in your zone of genius. But for you, if you started right now, you'd probably be there in about 6 months where you're like, okay, I'm only starting to create my world around this. What does that mean? What would need to go? What things and programs would actually need to be at a higher ticket price so that I could then have less people always in my world? And what would that look like for me emotionally and internally?
Wow. Let me tell you what's coming up for me right now when you say that. I pack my day because I have a lot of people in our audience that I love to help.
Yes.
And I've got a pretty high ticket price, I guess, if you compare it to the general public, like my one-on-one coaching or my, any kind of programs that you invest in with us. But if I raised it to where I really wanted to raise it to so that I only had to do a couple per day and have more space. My fear that comes up right away is, well, then I can't help very many people because there's very few people that can actually afford where I would raise it to. But then when I say that, I realize the dumbest thing about that statement is by me doing that, it then trains somebody at the highest level who can then go work with people the next level down. And working with people the next level down, that's training those individuals to go work with others the next level down from them. And it's actually creating space for the up and coming business coaches to be able to raise their rates and help somebody, 1 or 2 levels that are behind them. And so if anything, I'm kind of stalling the whole world by continuing to pack my schedule at a super respectable, but nowhere near, if I was really playing, magic idea time, nowhere near where I would actually want to charge it, just have a couple of appointments per day.
So I know most of you that are listening are either entrepreneurs or creatives or just people who have a lifelong hunger for learning. I know I am one of those people as well. You guys, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people just like you. We can explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. The reason that I love Skillshare is because right now I'm really focusing on building and marketing a new business that I'm working on. And with classes like personal branding, crafting your social media presence by Kate Ahrens, and this class by Gary Vaynerchuk that I'm loving is Context is Key, Social Media Strategy in a Noisy World. So I'm obsessed with all of the classes under marketing, and they have so many other classes for pretty much whatever you are interested in. So what's most important to me though, is that most classes are under 60 minutes with short lessons to fit any schedule. There's no ads. They're always launching new premium classes, and it's less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. So explore your creativity at Skillshare.com/Lori. And the first 1,000 people to use our link will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. Receive free access to thousands of classes for a limited time. Be one of the first 1,000 to sign up at Skillshare.com/Lori. That's Skillshare.com/Lori, Lori. I can't tell you how many times I've been hearing this, even from friends lately, where they say, if I go and do this thing, I'm actually afraid because I'm leaving my community behind. Like so many of the people, I'm not serving them. And I'm like, okay, that's actually exactly like what you said. You are stopping the flow of where you're supposed to go. You're stopping their flow of where they're supposed to go. You are supposed to step into the next place so they can then take over that place. And here's the thing, you guys, if you're really that concerned, like, oh my God, these people are going to not know what to do without me. First of all, that's a little egotistical. Second, it really is. Like, second of all, you can pass them off to a friend who has a program that can help them, or you can create a program that could actually help those people. And you can step into your highest position where you will actually open up things that will serve more people than you know, because it all trickles down, right? You'll be serving the coaches who will then be serving all of those people in the way that is actually in their zone of genius. So allow that, like, help them get to their zone of genius by you getting to yours first. It's the same exact thing that we always talk about. So you will always need somebody to go further ahead than you. Like, people are waiting for you to actually go further ahead so that they can as well, because they can't go where they can't see the tracks, right? It's kind of like we always need that person who's ahead of us that we can kind of see, like, oh God, it's been done before. It's possible. All of those things.
Let me turn this back on you. I don't know how I became the subject. When are you at your best?
I'm at my best when I am enrolling people into a vision and sharing with how they can get to this next level. So for me, I am at my best when I am breathing life into people around, like, bringing the best out of them and connecting other people who are, like, connecting people. That's when I'm at my best.
All right. So where are you not living up to that?
Right now, it's really interesting because there are things that I know that I have to be doing in this company. So it's kind of like this temporary, like, I know where I have to be. I actually feel pretty open to my zone of genius. And I am trying now from here on out to do things that only keep me in that zone of genius and not to do things that don't. So I think for right now, I am kind of upper limiting myself though around I know where I'm upper limiting myself. Around the some of the people that I want to reach out to. I'm telling myself that maybe I'm not there yet, or they won't be interested in me.
I hear that, and I think that's impossible because you and I know, like, all the people you talked to this past week, that are joining you in light pink. And I think, how in the world can you think that you don't want to reach out to somebody? Because the people that you're already collaborating with are like the top of the top.
Yeah, I've had a lot of worse things come up around this. It's interesting because I've been like, okay, I'm just going to go for it, and I'll reach out to a bunch of people, and I'm like, oh, well, I know they'd be in because they also love this, but I don't know about this one because maybe I'm not enough in this area, or maybe I haven't done this yet, or I don't have this proof of sales yet, or whatever that looks like. So I'm upper limiting myself in who I want to connect with, because I am at my best when I'm connecting. And I know that my next level right now is to connect with this next level of people who feel a bit out of reach for me. And that's where I'm limiting myself. I'll watch it and be like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. I don't know what to say. Or this person needs to come in first so that I can then, have kind of, this person's in here and I can now reach out to this person. Like, I'm hesitating a bit.
Do you know where I'm actually seeing people do that to themselves? We've been getting a lot of people say, hey, I'm interested in this couple's experience, this container that you put together.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll literally start their email or their DM with, I'm totally not at your level. I feel like I shouldn't even be reaching out, but I'm interested in hearing about your couple's experience or your couple's container that you're putting together this year. And the very fact that they're leading with that shows that they have those same worth things that are coming up for you right now. And everyone always has them. That always comes up. So this is not like setting the expectation that one day your worth issues go away.
Right.
But I see people doing that.
So it's interesting because you're like, what we're doing is we're trying to ease the pain of rejection, and we're actually expecting rejection. So when I read emails like that, and believe me, I want to send the same exact email. Trust me. I've written out the same email to these people that I'm reaching out to. And now I don't do that at all. Now I view it as like hey, this is a sales pitch. This is life. Like, when you go on a date, you're not like, you know what? Here's what I want to tell you. I kind of like really suck at throwing my stuff in the laundry basket. Here's where I'm going to fail you. Here's where you're kind of selling yourself, and you're not selling yourself in a way that you're saying you're perfect, but you are going to sell your best traits, right? You're going to show up your best. And I think that when I'm reaching out to people, it's an important time to brag. I'm saying a healthy brag, right? It's an important time to say what you've done. It's an important time to get people enrolled. Are you enrolling people in why you should be a part of that or not? Like, I had an investor who was like, I'm not sure if this is the right investment for me right now, just with her investing goals and what type of business she was looking to invest in. And I was like, I kind of backed down a bit, and I was like, okay, well, just can I have you for questions? Like, can you be in my life in this way? And she was like, this is what she said to me. Lori, right now, you should be pitching me again as to why I should invest.
Interesting.
And I was like, oh,
there you are backing down.
And I was backing down because she just told me like, I don't think this is for me. And I was like, oh, I knew it, right? Because she was up on this list that I put on this pedestal of people that I had already counted myself out on, but I was going to go for it.
Yeah. You know, It's interesting. You said this list of people you put on a pedestal. The more and more that you and I quickly meet, let's say famous people and also famous entrepreneurs, all this other stuff, it's amazing how quickly that feeling goes away. Mm-hmm. So in other words, the limiting worth or the fear is still there in the beginning, but now it's down to just a matter of hours, if not minutes, that all of a sudden we feel, oh, never mind, we're all on the same level. We all have some positives, we all have some weaknesses. And the more you get around individuals like that, the more you realize we're all the same. Someone else might just been in the game longer.
Exactly. And it's so funny because all of my like past personal development beliefs are kicking in saying, you don't put people on a pedestal. That's where you limit yourself. That's a huge like problem to do that. And okay, we all do it though. We all like categorize, judge, sum up people and think like they're better. They did this, whatever that is. And it's kind of, I don't think it's ever going to go away. I think the acknowledgement of it is the first step to going away, right? Just like any problem, acknowledge what it is and then notice it and then fix it. So as I'm emailing now, it's kind of like, hey, I have the most exciting thing for you, blah, blah, blah. So when you're emailing for the couples thing or for someone else's thing, it's kind of like, bring your best foot forward. What is great? Why do you want to do this? Like acknowledge where you're at and then say, this is where I see myself though. So that's really cool because that's an upper limiting problem through email where we can now see how our communication can actually be counting us out and people who have gone to that next level will see it right away. So it's kind of like, where am I stopping myself even without realizing it? Because I think I'm being humble, right? Like that being humbleness can actually be stopping you from getting to where you want to go. Because it's not a time to be humble when you want to get in something.
No, I couldn't agree more. So speaking of getting in something, we have one spot left as we record this. And this particular episode usually comes out like with a week lag time. So no guarantees that there will be a spot available. But as of right now, we have one spot left for our really high-end couples experience because we have been very carefully making sure that we have the perfect personality fits for the group that's already joined. So the couples that have already joined, oh my God, so incredible, so high level, so excited to just like lift the curtain and grow together as entrepreneurial business couples. And we're looking for that one more couple to grab that last spot.
Yes, Chris. So how can they sign up? How can they find us?
Easy. Get the conversation started by texting couples by texting couples to me at 310-421-0416.
Amazing. You guys were so excited and there may be a spot open. There may not be. I'm not sure. Like Chris said, this is always a week lag time, right?
Week lag time. Yep.
It just sounded like it wasn't actually a sentence when I said it out loud.
It sounded like a week leg time. Like we've got one bunk leg.
Right. We're good though. So we're solid. But you guys, we are so excited that hopefully it will be one of you that we'll be moving through this next year with and growing and reaching our crazy goals all together because we know it's so important to have that support of other people. We cannot do anything alone. Chris and I literally reach out to people on a daily and weekly basis for help because this is not a thing that you want to bang your head against the wall and do alone, especially support in your relationship and your monetary goals. And that's really what we're going to reach is really being unapologetic about where we want to go because we know that when we reach those things, just like we said, it helps all of the other people.
Every other couple joined because they said, I don't have other high performance couples where I can talk about my problems freely without feeling like I'm being judged. Like, let's be honest, we talk about problems where the bulk majority of people might say something like, oh, you poor thing. I wish I had problems like that. And while on the surface, I absolutely acknowledge that, I'll tell you, it can make you very lonely and you've got no one to turn to if you have people that won't acknowledge what your level of problems are.
Right.
And so that's what the number one response that we've been getting from everyone joining is, I've got a lot of things that are challenging in my life that I feel like I can't get any help with publicly. And this has totally saved my upcoming year of 2021 for us as business high performance couples.
Yes. So you guys make sure you text. Chris, what's the number?
Couples. Text the word couples to me at 310-421-0416.
All right, guys, we are so grateful for you. Share your biggest takeaway. I'd really like to know where you feel like maybe you've upper limited yourself, or maybe you had an aha moment during this podcast. Again, if you want to get that book, it's called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. It's one of my favorite books. Third time through reading it. I will probably read it again in just a little bit. So until next time, everyone, I don't know, be amazing.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you guys so much for spending this time with me on the Earn Your Happy podcast. I am so glad that you stopped by. If you could take 1 second to share this episode with someone you think would love it, that would be absolutely amazing, and we would be forever grateful. Also, please leave us a review if you feel so moved by going to iTunes and leaving us an honest thought, an honest comment. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you want to hear more of. It would really help us out on our journey to helping thousands and thousands of people. Until then, don't forget to earn your happy. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.
Hey, I know if you're listening to this podcast that you have big dreams and big goals. And one of the things that can really stop you is struggling with your marketing. Trust me, I have been there. Are you using 10 different systems just to build your online business? Then I want you to try Kajabi. Kajabi helps you build your web pages, set up funnels, and sell your courses, content, coaching, or communities. You've been hearing me talk a lot about funnels on this podcast and the importance of your email list. You can get a free trial at kajabi.com. That's Kajabi.com. I've talked about Kajabi before, but here's something that's super cool and new. They just rolled out an AI assistant for creating your online course curriculum. And this means you just type in a topic that you want to create on a course or webinar, and bam, it just generates a sample outline for you. It takes a ton of the hard work away. Of course, you're going to customize it to be your own, but this really helps you get over the struggle of how in the world to start, which is where most people stop. If you're like me, starting is always the hardest part, and that's what makes Kajabi so popular. They've made it easier for creators to build web pages, build courses, build coaching programs, build membership sites, build checkout pages, and build email funnels. So if you're struggling with any of those, you got to go check it out. Go to Kajabi.com. Kajabi was really the first all-in-one system and is trusted by over 100,000 creators. I think that's good enough for me. Also has influencers and marketers who use this. And now their smart AI platform makes it easy to take what you know and turn it into an online course and business. Go start building with a free trial at Kajabi.com. That's Kajabi.com.
Hey, do you know what the big secret is this year? And it shouldn't be a secret because this should be your biggest focus. It is building your community. I am always working on building and nurturing my community, and everyone is talking about the power of community. Without an online community, you just cannot grow organically or create a real movement, which is what I know that we're all after. And you can build trust or monetize your audience. When you get community right, not only does your audience grow faster, but so do your sales. But where's everybody going to be managing their communities these days? And a lot of online entrepreneurs and thought leaders are turning to Circle.so. Circle is an all-in-one community platform. It lets you host content and create discussions, live streams, group chats, and memberships all under your own brand. And what's so cool about Circle.so is that you don't even need a website or Facebook group. Instead, Circle lets you build your own community site where you can host content and manage your members. You can even create locked and unlocked content spaces, groups, and classes. How freaking cool is that? You can put your content behind a paywall too, and you can charge different amounts of money for different spaces on your community site. Circle.so is famously easy to use, and it has a free 14-day trial for you, so you can go check it out, see if you like it, see if you love all the options. Just go to Circle.so. Go check it out right now, you guys. Imagine being able to manage your community, start group chats and live classes, and accept payments all in one place. Kind of mind-blowing since this is usually spread all over the place. You have to log into so many different things. If this is the year to capture, organize, and monetize your community, head over to circle.so. You can get a free trial and start building your online community right now. Just go to circle.so. You guys, you get the 14-day free trial. So just go and see if it's for you. It's going to streamline everything and make your life so much easier. It's so freaking cool.
Hey y'all, I'm so excited to share with you, Earn Your Happy is now part of Growth Day Podcast Network. A bunch of us are coming together to bring more growth to the world and support shows and brands that we truly believe in. And one of my friends is also on the network, and I'd love for you to go subscribe to his show. You guys, Trent Shelton has the most incredible podcast. It's called Straight Up with Trent Shelton, and it's going to remind you that you are built for this. I have heard Trent speak in person multiple times. I've listened to his podcast a ton. He's coming on the show, and I literally cannot wait because this man just spits straight fire. It is like truth that goes to your core and makes you take action right away. If you want one of those podcasts that when you're just out on a walk, you can't help but want to start running and run through a wall in your life, this is the show to go listen to. So you guys, make sure that you go subscribe to the show, Straight Up with Trent Shelton. You're going to love it.